Our guest on This Is America and the World is the celebrated poet, author, educator, and activist Nikki Giovanni. She's the University Distinguished Professor of English at Virginia Tech, has received the NAACP Image Award 7 times, and has also been selected as one of Oprah Winfrey's 25 living legends. Nikki Giovanni's new collection of writing is titled Make Me Rain, Poems and Prose. Professor, it's great to be with you once again. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Dennis. Good to see you.
I just absolutely love your new book. It is just filled with brilliant poetry and some wonderful prose as well. You must be very happy. Make Me Rain.
Make me rain. Yeah, I am very happy, but thank you very much for liking it. I am.
Indeed. I want you to help us a little bit, because I see this often this divide between black and white in the United States. So I guess a question that I would start asking would be, what's at the heart of the African American culture?
Oh, that's an easy question. Only 5 hours later, we might get to. I think the heart of our culture is, of course, music. We are a rhythmic people, and I think that that's wonderful. And I think that what we try to do is tell a story, and to tell our story. Mm-hmm. I think that's important. Also, we tell our story as we have seen it, and I think we're nice people. So I really like us. I recommend us, and if you're tired of being white, I we'll let you join us. It's no problem.
In the book, in the section, thank you very much for the invitation. In the book, in the prose section, you talk about the crossing and the 10th day. And this leads into what you've just said about music. Talk about the moan, the song, the narrative.
On that 10th day, for those of us who are historians, as we know, if and when in the slave trade, which was not, and I must say this as clearly as I know how, was not invented by Europeans. The slave trade has been and continues to be all over the world, black, brown, whatever color you are. There's some level of slave trade going on right now. But what we had was the slaves, or the enslaved, or the captured, I guess they would be at that point. You could still see, as you were moving away from Africa, as they were moving away from Africa, they could still see Africa. It was the 10th day that when they were brought up, because the enslaved were underneath, were in the bottom, as they were brought up to be washed, which is to say, have seawater thrown on them, and to make them jump up and down to keep the muscles going. Because otherwise, by the time they got to America, you would have more dead people than you had. And it was the 10th day when they came up that they realized they could not see Africa. They had no idea where they were, nor where they were going. And that was the day on which we were going to have the rebellion. And it was also the day, and I have to always give credit to it, because I think Black women are so just essential, so important. But that was the day, and it's going to be the Black women more so than anybody else who's going to realize we have lost this battle. We've lost it. And so we know that some people were thrown overboard. We know that some people were hanged, or some people were just murdered, but they put some people back down. Now, we also know there is no such language called African. Every group had its own language as Europeans. There's no such language as European. You have Germany, you have German language, you have French, everybody has the language. So now we're going to have, and I'm going to give credit to women for this. Now we're going to have this woman knowing that her people, these people that she's with, need to be comforted. So she has to find, how am I going to comfort them? Well, the only way to comfort them, because she can't say, hey, hold on, we're going to be all right. The only way to comfort is through a song. And how's she going to do that? She's going to invent a song. and she's going to be underneath, and the ship is going to be rolling, and she's just going to go, and somebody's going to pick that moan up. And by the time we get to what I'm going to now refer to as the United States, we're going to have already invented a song. And again, Dennis, one of the things you have to love about Black people is that from that point, 400 years ago until now, the song of Black Americans is the song of the world. You can go any place on earth and Black American song will be heard, no matter what it is. It was jazz, whether it's spirituals, no matter what it is, rap. You know, you can go to China and get rap. And I think it's so wonderful that if we hadn't done anything else, we brought that song, we would have earned our place. God would have said, you did good.
As I recall in my reading, the crossing took about 40 days or so. Yeah. And I said this to somebody, and I don't want to be in any way causing trouble or disrespectful, but it seems to me that if you did an abbreviated bit of history, the Europeans came and took the land, then they murdered the Indians, and then they brought slaves from Africa, enslaved them to build the country. Is that a short capsule of the beginning of the history of the United States?
Other than the fact that there's no such thing as the Indians, the people who were here,
indigenous.
And that's one of the fights that are going on. There were people here. They're only called Indian because Columbus was lost. And that's not something to be embarrassed about. Columbus didn't know where he was. He thought he was in India. And so he called the people that he ran into Indians. But good for Columbus, because it's nice to kind of roll around the earth. You got nothing else to do and just a guy, you know. But one of the things we're struggling as a nation with right now is, what is our name? What do we call ourselves? And how do we find a way? We cannot make up for all of the ugliness of the last several hundred years. It can't be done. And the term that I'm beginning to use an awful lot now, Dennis, is known white, because most white people that think that they're white are not white. They are known as white. And if they went back into that's why, by the way, there's a thing on TV, check your ancestors out. And everybody's got an ancestor from Norway or something. Everybody's dealing with, well, I am really white. I'm not, there's no Black blood in me. There's Black blood in all of us. And so that's one of the things that we need to deal with. We accept you all. We don't mind. We're nice people.
I understand again from my reading that the word white wasn't even used to apply to the Europeans until it got to the mid 1800s, when there was
until we were going to have a way of dividing the country. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's a shame, and I'm sorry that we allowed that to happen. I live in Appalachia, and if there's any nice group of known white people, it's Appalachians, because they had said, we will not send our sons to die so that the Shenandoah can have slaves. And I thought that was so brave, and that's something that they should hold on to. And they shouldn't allow other people to come in and take that bravery and that courage away from them. These are good people I live with. And these are people that I would trust. If my car would break down, I'd much rather be some holler someplace. I'd much rather be in a holler than I would be in a big city.
Let's hold on that note, take a little break, come back on the other side, and continue our conversation with University Distinguished Professor Nikki Giovanni. Her new book, Make Me Rain, some beautiful poetry, some beautiful prose. This is America and the World. Underwriting for This is America and the World is made possible by the Japan-America Society of Washington, D.C., featuring the 29th National Japan Bowl, a Japanese language and culture competition, streaming live April 9th, 2021. The National Association for Children of Addiction, Faces and Voices of Recovery, the Forerunner Foundation, the Rotondaro Family Trust, the Sultanate of Oman, the Kingdom of Morocco, and the Embassy Series, Uniting People Through Musical Diplomacy. Professor, you gave a talk one time and you said, this is who we are, this is what we think, this is what we feel, and this is why. Tell us, from your vantage point, what you think are some of the myths and some of the facts about African Americans.
I think that we're good people. One of the things that I really hate, Dennis, is I hate those songs that are always saying, you know, my man, he beats me, he don't treat me right. I hate those songs because it's not true. Or my man, he's lazy, he don't have a job. Black men that I know were working 2 and 3 jobs to take care of their families. So nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that crap. But you know what I want you to ask me about? Why have my last 2 books been about water? And I've gotten so excited and so interesting because if I could be anything, if God called me and said, Nick, you know, I know you're tired of being a poet. What would you like to be? I would love to be rain, because you can get along a long time without food, and you can get along without a lot of, you know, fancy clothes and stuff, but you can't get along without water. And you're sitting there, you have your coffee right now, which was made from water. I don't have my coffee with me, but it was made from water. And I thought, of all of the things to be, I would like to be water, because I can change. I can grow up. I can be a drop of water, or I can turn into a dewdrop, or I can turn into a piece of snow, which I don't know if you guys are having snow, but we have had some snow recently. I can turn into ice. And I thought, of all of the things that I would like to be, period, I'd like to be water. And then if I'm water, I'd also like to be able to cry. So my previous book was called A Good Cry. And this book is Make Me Rain, because I think that we don't appreciate and love the water that keeps us alive. I really, I would love to be. Wouldn't you just love to be, just for a day? Wouldn't you just love to be a raindrop on the windowsill with someone you love, and you just kind of tapping, just kind of, you know, tap tap, and that person, of course, in hearing that rhythm is going to have to fall in love. And then the next thing you know, they're going to open the window and let you in. I think it'd be fabulous.
How did that thought come into your mind?
I have no idea. I'm always laughing at myself. I said, one day somebody's going to put me in a hospital someplace. But, you know, you start to think about all of the beautiful, wonderful things. And I guess at my age, I'm 77, Dennis.
Okay.
At my age, I do recommend old age, by the way, and I recommend fat. I'm trying to gain weight. I'm probably the only person in America trying to gain weight. And I teach at Virginia Tech, and I'm always saying, you know, as smart as Virginia Tech thinks they are, I think they ought to learn how to sell weight. I think that somebody who's a little, you know, overweight, and they have to say, you know, for sale, you know, 5 pounds of left arm. And I would buy it, you know, because I could use a little weight. We ought to figure out some things that are more useful than the kind of crap we're doing right now. Don't you?
Could I ask you to read a little poetry from your book? And I have 2 that I particularly like, and a query is page 4, and that you may know these by heart, but I love this. A query. Could you read that for us?
Certainly. Let me find page 4. I need to learn how to memorize my own poems, which I have not yet done. Page 3, page 4. No, okay. Oh, yes. I want to know what song Jesus sang while he waited on the cross to die. I want to know what the soldier heard when he didn't hear anything more? What song did Jesus sing that asked his father for rest? And why did his father send a sword by a stranger to let the river flow? I'm glad I'm Black because we know there is salvation. And you have to figure, and people, you have to figure you're on the cross. What are you going to? Well, we're back to that. What are you going to do? You're on the cross. Your job on the cross is to die. So you're just going to, and eventually the soldier is not going to hear that. And so the question that I'm asking is, what did you hear when you didn't hear anything? The Roman soldier didn't hear anything, and he's the one that I read the St. James version of the Bible. He's the one that said, he's dead, cut him down. Somebody else said, we're not going to cut him down, let him stay up there for a while. And there was a fight, if you remember, a question going, and he said, no, cut him down, because his mother Mary was at the cross waiting, and the beloved disciple, John, was at the cross waiting. He says, cut him down. And they cut him down. I just think it's so fabulous. I would love to know what he hummed.
When you were at home and looking at television and saw the siege on the Capitol, the riot at the Capitol, the mob at the Capitol, what were your thoughts? What were your feelings? What was going on inside? What did that say about America?
I don't think it says anything about America. I think it says something about number 45. And when I looked at that and I watched the senators and representatives, when I watched them running, I emailed a friend of mine, and we both had the same thought, because she lives in Alabama. She and I had the same thought, is that now you know how we feel. Now you know how it feels to have a group of ignorant, crazy, evil people. Pence learned something. I don't know what it's going to do him. I don't, because I don't have any regard for Mike Pence. But he learned what it's like to have a mob saying, where is Mike, who was holding a rope that they intended to kill him? So you learn something, because that's really uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable that you're trying to do your job so that you can go home to your family and your dog, cut your grass or whatever it is you have to do. And now you've got this riotous mob after you. I thought, now you know how we feel. Now you know how every Black mother, I am a mother of a son, you know how every Black mother feels when our sons walk out the door. We worry because we are praying that they will come back. Now you know how we feel.
And it comes to this, is on page 12 of your new book.
I do enjoy the new book, by the way. So thank you for liking it. The front cover is a shout out to Marvin Gaye. I didn't know Mr. Gaye, but his the best album of our group is What's Going On. And you remember Marvin has the rain. And so I wanted to do, when we talked about the photo shoot, when Rachel called me and said, what are your thoughts on the photo shoot? I said, I want to show rain. I want to give a shout out to Marvin Gaye. And that's what, of course, I smile. Somebody else said that. You smile all the time. Marvin is a little unhappy, but I smile all the time because what the hell? Excuse me. You may as well smile. Painful words, nasty comments, always in groups, never just by yourself, teaching your sons to hate and your daughters to fear, waiting until night, putting on white hoods to cover your face, burning the cross you say you worship, bombing the church 4 little girls or 9 Bible studies will be in, passing laws, not allowed this, not that, complaining because you're poor, complaining because you're ignorant, sad because you're stupid, greedy, because you don't know anything else to be, sexing your daughter, your 14-year-old daughter, beating your wife, saying you are for the unborn, unless you can be a cop and then shoot them, or a jury and free the men who murdered them, or looking for a job and taking me in private prisons where God only knows what you do to the men. Since when did prisons become private? Killing coyotes because they howl, killing lions if you save enough money to go to Africa and can brag, killing your girlfriend because she says she's leaving you, looking at the world with a toothless mouth, with facial hair down to the ground, trying to believe coal will come back, finally having to recognize the only thing you have to offer, anything, yourself, planet Earth, anything at all, is your white skin. How sad, how sad.
Were you angry when you wrote that?
That would understate it a little bit. Yes, Dennis, I was angry. You get tired of always fighting the same fight. When you all you want to do is have a decent life, take care of yourself. You know, you want to, and I did. My mother's been dead 14 years, Dennis, and my father died. We're poor people. We're not like, oh my God, I didn't have any, but we were not. But when Gus died, he died and hadn't made any arrangements. You know, if you're born, you're going to die. But he hadn't made any arrangements to have a place for burial or any of that. And so I thought about that. We buried him, of course, but I thought about it and I thought, oh, what's the perfect gift for my mother so that she will never have to worry about herself, me, or anybody. And I thought I should buy plots. So I bought 6. We're a very small family. I purchased 6 funeral plots, and then I purchased a memorial, and it has everybody's name on it, and when we were born and when we died. And Christmas came, I put it in a box. I thought it was really nice, and I gave it to Mommy. It was her Christmas gift. And Mommy opened this, and she said, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "What?" She said, "You call this a gift?" And I said, "You're damn straight I do. You know what this cost me?" I said, "I tell you what, I'll take it back. I'll just take all of it back. And you don't worry about it. When you die, I'll let you fall where you are." And it took her about 2 minutes to realize, oh, I'm sorry, baby. This is a gift. And it is a gift to look out for yourself and to be able to take care of your people. And that's all anybody pretty much wants. You want to do a good job. And the nice thing, and I say that to my class recently, the nice thing about growing old is that when you get to be around 50 or so, you can say, I did a good job. And so that's the way I feel. So yes, I was angry about that because nobody wants that. You just want to love somebody and somebody to love you, and to have other people leave you alone about who you love. That's not hard.
You have done a good job. I want to ask you this one question. What do you want white folks to know?
I don't know. I sincerely don't know. I'm not particularly angry today. I think what I want everybody to know is that somewhere there is some goodness in you. So it's worth fighting for, that goodness. The first thing I read in the paper, because there's nothing else that's interesting, is my horoscope. And I'm always happy if I get 4 stars. Some days I get 5. All I want to know is that I'm trying to be, I want to be a good person. And I'm not always a good person, because you can read the book and you can see I really hate people. Some people I have no regard for. But I would like to like people better. I would like to be a better person. I doubt that I will be all that much better. But it's something, and you say, well, what about white people? I don't know. I think that every person wants or should want to be a better person. That's what we should want.
Thank you, Professor. Make Me Rain, Poems and Prose, Nikki Giovanni. Thank you so much, Professor, for visiting with us today. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Dennis. And thank you. This is America. Thanks a lot.
For information about This Is America and the World, visit our website, thisisamerica.net, or our YouTube channel, This Is America TV, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Underwriting for This Is America and the World is made possible by the Japan-America Society of Washington, D.C., featuring the 29th National Japan Bowl, a Japanese language and culture competition, streaming live April 9th, 2021. The National Association for Children of Addiction. Faces and Voices of Recovery. The Forerunner Foundation. The Rotondaro Family Trust. The Sultanate of Oman. The Kingdom of Morocco. And the Embassy Series, Uniting People Through Musical Diplomacy.